coming to you live as fuck over the YouTube and Twitter airwaves and wherever you listen to your podcast. It's the Sons of Honarchy podcast with your host, Drunk Shy Sox fan on Twitter. That's Steve-O.
And Hot Take Tommy. And on this episode of the Sons of Honarchy podcast, yes, we'll be celebrating baseball's back, but more importantly, we have, as you can see, a very special guest, Sammy Davis Jr. 5000 of the Twitter worlds. So welcome, Sammy,
joining us.
I appreciate it.
Yes, from the past and the future, all at once.
Yes,
he is joining us. Very honored.
It's actually about 3 p.m. So I've been brushing up on my baseball knowledge all day. So I think I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. You look a lot different right now than you do in your profile picture. So
the profile pictures are from when I was alive. I've been dead, 30 some odd years, and I've had some work done here in the future. So this is the look I'm going with today.
Time does that to you, right?
Exactly.
So, right. Speaking of the work done, is that where these ears, the Shrek ears, is that part of your body, or is that a headgear? Is that a new fashion from the future?
This is new fashion in the future.
Okay.
The year 5000 is, I heard in your guys' world there's like a 90s revival of TV shows and fashion. But 5000, we are going through a full-on Shrek revival. So I mean, Shrek culture is everywhere. People are dressing up like the gingerbread man. Lord Farquaad pants are like really hot right now. You can't even get them at the local store. So.
Well, for those of us that aren't joining us live and are going to be listening later over the podcast, first and foremost, make sure you rate, subscribe, review to the podcast, as well as subscribe to our new YouTube page. We are on YouTube. Just search us up. You should be able to find us. But joining us today is one of the biggest mards I know. I don't normally respond to trolls, but in this case, I absolutely have to. And having this guy on. We have no idea about this man's real identity. He may be Sammy Davis Jr. He may not be. He may not have joined us at the ballpark a few times this year. This guy may or may not have gotten me nice and toasty before opening day 2021. He may be responsible for creating and running the White Sox Twitter Bureau of Investigation. And he was just recently blasted for being a keyboard warrior that's too coward to confront people in person. Ladies and gentlemen, Sammy Davis Jr. 5000. So I just wanted to give you that proper introduction.
Thank you very much. That was very nice. You forgot to call me a beta, so I also go by that name.
What are you again right now on Twitter? Are you Beta Davis Jr. Or are you still Sammy?
I went back to my regular name for the tournament, so people who are unfamiliar with me could know who I am. But during the tournament, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans going on with my profile. So everyone, stay tuned.
Very excited.
Actually, so excited about it.
oh boy,
my God. Well, speaking of the 108 tourney, Steve, my guy, you killed it. The people love you. You also almost killed yourself. So give us the inside scoop of how that went for you, both during and after, please. We need to know.
So during the show, I decided to challenge myself in doing a shot of beer, which sounds lame. It's like 5% beer, but those add up after every matchup that I analyzed. So those caught up to me on top of the like neon beer hugs that I was already drinking, which are like 7%. So I got nice and toasty during the podcast. For people who don't know, I am alive. Our guy Shane Spags is in the chat here. Glad to see him alive. Yes. Alive and well now. Yesterday, I couldn't say the same. That was one of the roughest days of teaching I've ever had. Thank God they had tests in English and math. So I had nice double blocks to just kind of sit there and think and regret my life. So yeah, no, it was a blast.
Were you also drinking truth serum during that podcast? Because you revealed just about every piece of confidential information that you've been privy to for about the last 6 years. So
Yeah, it's yeah, I probably shouldn't have mentioned that I'm part of specific group chats with people. I probably shouldn't have almost name dropped the Sammy Davis Jr. 5000. I probably shouldn't have basically contributed to making somebody quit the 108 tournament and Twitter as well, apparently.
and maybe even life. We don't know yet. He may quit life because of you.
That would be really bad. That would be really bad. I regret very much so. I have so many regrets, but
You got
I
a
don't
body
at
on
the
you.
same time. What's that? Oh, I got body account. Yeah, yeah,
You
and
got body
not in the sex way. Yeah, absolutely.
No, not in the good way, not in like the red slate way.
So yeah, Tom, I'm not sure if you heard, but there is a specific person that I may have contributed to their quitting of Twitter. We can maybe talk about that off the air.
Well, that being said, you've officially both created enemies and friends ahead of the 108 tourney, and now we're here, right? It's basically it's live right now. We actually just voted for the play-ins, the battle royale. I apologize, ahead of the tournament here. So really funny now that Steve is still alive, not drinking a Bloody Mary like he usually does on a Saturday morning, because he decided to behave himself last night, from what we hear.
Yeah, I really thought about it on Friday morning. Little hair of the dog might not have hurt. So
It stops this, and it gets you level.
absolutely.
Although I do feel that the Bloody Mary is a very overrated.
Oh my God.
drink.
I hate Bloody Marys.
What is your go-to hair of the dog then, Sammy Davis?
I've got a couple options for you. One, I love a good Negroni when I'm hungover. Two, John Daly. But
Ooh, yes.
it can't be like a super sweet iced tea or lemonade because the sugar messes with you and messes with your stomach. So actually, have you guys ever had Spindrift?
I've not had Spindrift. No.
Dude, you guys are so poor. The it's a brand of carbonated beverages, and they make a yeah, they make an iced tea lemonade one, and with vodka, it's awesome.
So you just pour in your own vodka?
Yeah, I mean, it's very good. And then there was this drink at this restaurant that used to be in Pilsen called Nightwood, and it was vodka, Kahlua, and a shot of espresso, and it is amazing. So those are my three favorite hangover drinks right there.
Have you ever tried to make the vodka Kahlua espresso one on your own?
No. The closest I've ever come is when my brother-in-law bought me rum chata creamers for coffee, and those are sneaky good.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Tom, remember when we did that cold brew Malort thing that one time?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I was thinking of that. I was also thinking of the espresso martini that I've had a few times here at the homestead. But yes, specifically that Malort cold brew coffee with actual Malort was fucking fantastic.
Yes.
That needs to make a comeback.
Dark Matter Coffee. I wish they still made it. No free ads. So we have a segment usually on this podcast where we talk about our weeks. This is slowly becoming the what did Tommy not tweet about this week segment. So I do want to hear a little bit from Tommy about what he did this week instead of joining us for the entire 108 show.
Oh my God. Well, that night I actually had preconceived plans for hanging out with family first, no regrets. But I will say the highlight of my week was fucking making a grilled cheese on Tuesday, which is about, thank you, Sammy. But I mean, that's about as good as
big fan of grilled cheese over here.
Yeah. Oh, and the homemade tomato soup, fam, it was lit. It was lit. So, and by homemade, I mean out the can, baby. Burying the lead. No, the grilled cheese though, fam. It was good.
Did you put anything on it?
Almost a whole stick of butter. So
usually makes a lot of things taste better.
Yes, it made it taste great.
So two questions, Tommy. One, if that was the highlight of your week, are you okay? Do you need to talk to someone? And two, next time you do that, instead of the tomato soup out of the can, which again sounds delicious, do is try to get some vodka sauce, some like homemade vodka sauce, and dip it in
Yes.
it. That's the way to go.
Well, I do not need to help. Actually, that was a great. The grilled cheese sandwich was just so superior that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say this. Tommy's wife, a couple weekends ago, I was over at his place, was telling me about how he's definitely not the cook of the house. There was a time where Tommy put together this canned vegetable and rice mixture when he was first dating his wife. Tommy, should I let you tell that story? I would love.
Yeah.
To tell that story, but-
Well, I was real excited. I was like, she cooks for me all the time. I'm in college and I need to impress this lady that I've been with for a while now. So I was like, okay, I know how to make rice. I know how to open a can of beans. And that's half a meal right there. So the other thing I added was, and mind you, plain white rice, plain black beans. I added just a can of Rotel right on top. And I served it just like so. She was not as impressed as I was with myself, needless to say. But
that's what I feed my dog when she's sick. Like, like the blandest thing I can think of.
Well, she thought something along the same lines,
Okay.
and hasn't let me cook as much as I used to back when I was just feeding myself. But,
Unbelievable.
hey, yo, but look, this grilled cheese was actually fire, though. Like, this grilled cheese did make the highlight reel. Full stop.
Wow. Impressive, Tommy. So we got baseball back.
Yes,
Sammy, are you excited?
I am excited, but I'm going to admit I was not, hanging on every bit of news about the lockout and the negotiations, as much as everyone else was, because I couldn't put myself through it. It's we all knew it was going to get done. I mean, I don't think anyone thought they were going to cancel the season. There's no way in hell, especially 2 years after a 60-game season with no people in the stands. So, I went full zen. I'm like, I'm not going to follow this as much. I'm not going to worry about it. I know it's going to happen, but the whole time my worry was exactly what we found out from Rick Hahn yesterday or the day before is it looks like they're not going to do anything.
yeah.
And, this whole notion that, we have the pieces in place to compete. I just don't believe that. Teams are, even before the lockout, people were signing players, people were spending money. And, there are significant holes in this team. Look at that. And I'm sorry that I'm going off on a tirade right now, which probably is going to go to other point, but it's what was the problem? What were the problems that we had down the stretch in the playoffs this year? The bottom of our lineup could not produce, and the pitching was inconsistent. What are the biggest issues we have right now? The bottom of the lineup and filling the holes in the pitching. So those were the things that I was thinking of, just because I knew it was going to get done, and I just didn't have the patience to deal with fucking Bob Nightingale, and I mean, not John Heyman because he blocked me on Twitter, but like I couldn't deal with it. It's just one other thing in life, I just couldn't put myself through at this point.
I salute your restraint is what I'll say. Cause yeah, I was out here.
First time someone ever told me that, especially given my Twitter presence.
Yeah, that fair. No, but in this case, it's true. Like, I was living and dying out here, and I will say, I did not get sucked into Bob Nightingale, because Bob Nightingale lies. That's the only thing I know to be true in this world, is that Bob Nightingale lies and just carries water and all that bullshit. So I was not interested in what he had to say at all. But
that's Jerry's BFF.
Oh God, they go out and do brunch every Saturday, guaranteed. But I wasn't listening to him, but all the other like conversations going on around. I was getting more and more pessimistic by the day. I mean, the fact that they canceled the first two series, I was just like, okay, well then nothing fucking matters anymore. I guess I might as well like cancel my plans and whatever. Leave these Sox ticket representatives on red and calling me 3 times in 2 days. Unbelievable. But yeah, now we're back. No more pessimism. Baseball's back. Carlos Rodon is gone. I'm gonna cry about that another time. But we have a special guest, and we want to get to know the real Sammy Davis Jr. 5000 a little bit better. So, Steve, I know you had a couple quick questions for him. You want to take it away?
Absolutely. So, I mean, we know a little bit about the username, but how did the username come about?
All right, I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. This is the dumbest, most boring story that you're ever going to hear, but it explains. I mean, it doesn't explain a lot. So we have this friend. I have a friend growing up in Bridgeport. His name is Frankie, and he's given himself the nickname the Cugino. And he is just like the biggest McGaffer, typical Bridgeport you've ever met in your life. Oh, he talks like this. He walks around. He says a couple, 2, 3 all the time. Yeah, he's like, oh, what's up there? So, exactly. So at a certain point, he started calling everyone Chimmy, like Chimmy. He's like, oh, what's up, Chimmy? So he's like, oh, Chimmy. And then we was, oh, what's up there, Jimmy Choon, Bobby Choon, Jimmy Choon, Sammy Davis Choon. So my cousin just said, like, out of the blue, like, oh, Sammy Davis Choon. And then it just like stuck. Like everything like that we would reference, it would be Sammy Davis Jr. It kept spitballing, like to the point where I was in college, like drawing pictures of Sammy Davis Jr. like in my notebooks. And my fantasy football team has been Sammy Davis Jr. for the past, I think, 15 years. I have trophies that I wish I could show them. They're in storage right now because we're getting ready to move. But I have 6 trophies that say Sammy Davis Jr. on them for fantasy football. Hold on 1 second. I've got to show you guys something. I've got to run to my other room really quick. Pretend like you're having cyber sex to fill the airtime.
That'll be exactly what we do.
Well, this is absolutely incredible that he's running and going to get a prop right now for our visual watchers. But
very fitting.
I'm just dying right now because he's bringing in this Bridgeport connection and talking about growing up in Bridgeport. And I know exactly where I'm gonna go with this next, but I just like I can imagine it right now. That typical old school Bridgeport. Couple 2 3. I can't do it. I can't do it.
The impersonation was perfect. Yes.
Oh,
only Sammy could bring that. Like
absolutely dying right now. And he's back.
So I have a framed picture of Sammy Davis Jr. that's like 3 feet by 4 feet. But again, we're moving and it's been put into storage. So I'm sorry for getting your guys' hopes up. But yes.
Oh my God. Well, you were talking about high school. Can you tell us a little bit about your high school experience growing up as a Southsider?
Yeah. So in Bridgeport, like 90% of the people either go to De La Salle or Queen of Peace. It's because most of them have no ambition or intellect.
Now is that a shot real quick? Is that a shot at our guys Beef Loaf and Chorizo E?
No, because they are pillars of the community, and there are some people who eke their way into success out of De La Salle, and they have managed to do that. And it's like me and my group of friends, we went to St. Ignatius. So like we were like people like put their nose up at us like, oh, you guys think you're smart because you go to Ignatius, and I would respond, yes, I think that I am smarter than you. I went to Ignatius. So and what I really think Steve-O is trying to get to is the origin of the Juggalo story.
Oh yes. You were outed as a juggalo by and that wasn't even me. That was
No,
Teresa.
I outed myself as a juggalo during my PowerPoint about how much I hate Beer Garden Gym.
That's right. The Festivus presentation.
So it was probably about sophomore year. My friends really got into Insane Clown Posse, and so did I. But again, I never painted my face because I don't know how that would affect my skin. But yeah, I don't know if you saw the tweet yesterday, but we had a bunch of ICP shirts, and what we would do is we would wear them underneath our white dress shirts for school, and you could just see like these gigantically ugly ICP shirts through them. So like a couple months later, they revised the dress code at St. Ignatius that made everyone wear white undershirts underneath their shirts.
There's nothing better.
Wow.
I'm so confident that stands to this day because of you. That's fantastic.
If that's the legacy that I left there, I'm completely fine with it.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of leaving legacies at Ignatius, there's a Chicago comedic legend who went to Ignatius, correct? That you may or may not have a story about.
Yes, I do. So John Mulaney was
Yes.
2 years ahead of me at Ignatius. Okay, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with his bit, where a teacher got his house trashed.
Yeah, of
And
course.
It's called The Thing That You Can't Replace, because some kid would go around stealing family photos from
Yeah.
houses. So I had that teacher my sophomore year when Mulaney was a senior, and I was in class the day after that party happened, or the Monday after that party happened. And I swear to God, I remember this like it happened yesterday. So when his son had the party, he made his son tell him the name of every single person who was at the party, and he had a list. And two of the people who were at the party sat in front of me in class. So I remember he walks into class and he's just got this like death stare on his face. And he walks up to the two people, like taps on their desk, and he goes, "I know." And like 90% of the class wasn't there, so they had no idea what's going on. And then it had only been, a couple days later that we heard about this party, and it is 100% true. They did break his pool table in half. They did take a shit in his computer. And the thing that Mulaney doesn't mention, which I think is the funniest, is they stole all his underwear. Yep.
Why? Why?
I mean, why not though? I mean,
It's so good. It's so good.
If you think about it, it's brilliant. Like
so yeah, I can attest that story is 100% true. But the best thing, what we didn't steal pictures when we went to parties in high school. What we did is, I think, even worse. We would steal the remote control from people's houses.
Oh my God.
there you go.
Oh, because they look and they like, oh, it's in the couch. It's not in the couch. Oh, it's under the couch. It's not on the couch. It's on this table. It's not on.
I mean, think about how mad you get if you can't find the remote for like 3 minutes, and then how relieved you are when you find it. Like
like you literally ruined probably 45 minutes to an hour of these people's lives, guaranteed at the low.
I bet that we caused some divorces. Like, I told you to put the remote here. No, I hate you. We're getting divorced. Okay, I'm cheating on you.
Holy shit. That's absolutely amazing.
One party, we actually took one shoe from every person that was in the front of the house and threw them on a roof somewhere. So, God, that had to, man, we were terrible. We were terrible human beings.
just another delinquent from Bridgeport,
Yep.
right, Sammy? So I gotta ask, obviously being a Bridgeport resident growing up, you grew up a Sox fan, basically probably by default.
Mhm.
But do you have any other reasons why you decided to stick out your White Sox fandom even throughout the shitty years?
For people in Bridgeport, it's like you said, it's not just a choice, but it's like it's embedded into the fabric of the neighborhood. I mean, that neighborhood, who knows if it would, be as nice as it is today if the Sox weren't there. I mean, Bridgeport doesn't have all the amenities of, like Wicker Park and places like that, but the property is just as expensive as it is anywhere in the city. Um, and it's like they're just like a tenant in the neighborhood. It's technically true because Jerry Reinsdorf only pays like $35 of rent per year to use the stadium,
Right.
but it's like you're born into it, and there are a couple people who are contrarians who root for the Cubs, but they're assholes.
Absolutely. Now, I gotta ask real quick. Other than the 2005 World Series, which obviously is probably the crowning jewel moment of your lifetime, of our lifetime for the White Sox, what has been your favorite moment for the Sox outside of that?
So I'm gonna get a little emotional. I'm gonna say this last season,
For sure.
and not because they made the playoffs. It was because that's when I started hanging out with you fuckers, and so I mean, think about it, Steve-O. How many times did I just come to a game last year just by myself to meet up with you guys?
Hell
Like
yeah.
I had never done that in my life before. Like 30 years ago into that ballpark with all my friends, it was always I was with my friend or someone else, and then I met you guys about a year and a half ago, and then went to about 20 games, just hanging out with you guys in 108, and it was the most fun I had in a season going to Sox games. And I think that just shows, the White Sox Twitter community, how awesome it is, how, great the 108 guys have done, to build a community. And I mean, it's not even close. It's, besides the World Series, that's what I would say is, the best, my favorite part about my Sox fandom.
Hell yeah, man. That's fucking brilliant. And with the winning baseball to boot, right? Like that amplifies all of it times 10. But what I'm really excited about is when this time inevitably passes and the Sox, start going downhill again. Wow, we're literally the baseball just got reinstated and I'm going down this rabbit hole. But
it's hard not to as a Sox fan. So
yeah, it's like inevitably we'll be bad again.
Well,
but
that's funny.
More camaraderie going into that.
Well, it's funny because our guy at that baseball fan, Carrie on Twitter, here in the comment section said you, Sammy Davis Jr., thought the Sox were going to lose every game last year. You're kind of known as being a little bit of a pessimist.
Yes,
when it comes to the White Sox.
And I stand by this. And I look at all. I mean, think like you mentioned. Like so, I've been a Sox fan my entire life. 35 years of being a Sox fan. We've had one, crowning moment in those 35 years. And you guys remember 2005? We had every single thing go our way that year. I mean, up to and including Grady Sizemore losing a ball in the fucking sun that made us win the division.
Yep.
I mean, the playoffs were just a fucking steamroll. And it's like, I felt like we used up 200 years worth of good luck, like in that season. But it's like, other than that, they've always let me down. And like, that's what I automatically default to. And it's like, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it's like the Sox, consistently do the same. And I'm not sure if it's like this for other teams because, we primarily watch the Sox, but it's like, oh, the Sox get a runner on third with less than 2 outs. And I'm automatically like, ain't no way we're getting this fucking run in. Or we've got a 4-run lead in the 8th inning. I'm like, we're going to fucking blow this. Like, it's almost like watching these games, you've seen this play out like 100 times before. The thing I compare it to is remember the opening night of the NFL season when the Bears played the Packers and we got Khalil Mack for the first time.
Absolutely. Jumped off to a huge first half lead.
Huge first half, and I got like 10 text messages during the halftime that said, there's no way in hell we win this game. And I'm like, yep, because we've seen this before. Like at the end of the day, they're still the Bears, and at the end of the day, it's like I feel like they're still the White Sox. Mm-hmm. And until I'm proven otherwise, and again, that pretty much hasn't happened in the past 17 years now. I just automatically have to default and be pessimistic. But it also, if you're a everlong pessimist, when something good does happen, you can act surprised. and be happy about it.
Hell yeah. Well, it's setting the bar low so that when they actually reach their goals and achieve beyond what you think they were capable of doing, it's just so much more rewarding, right?
Get up and let down.
And I'm sure Tommy can tell you it's kind of like marriage. So here's a little piece of advice, Steve. Here's my number one advice for marriage. Always assume you are in trouble, because when you're not, it's like fucking Christmas. Am I right, Tommy?
It's not bad. It's not. Yeah. That is a way to go about it.
Tommy just lets his wife do everything. That's the thing. Like, Tommy does nothing, and she takes care of everything. She takes care of the finances. She takes care of the cooking. We can hear the child in the background. Surprisingly, Tommy doesn't have one of those yet.
Don't do it, man.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
Don't do it, man.
That's funny. I'm sure what you're saying is, children is your pride. Your child's your pride and joy. That's what I heard. Right?
Oh, she's great, but I also hate her.
Oh my gosh. Well, back to and I hate to switch it back to the White Sox, but here we are, a White Sox baseball podcast, right, Tommy?
Indeed, we are.
So with that false, it's not even false hope in the White Sox. It's making sure you don't get your hopes up in the White Sox.
Yep.
What are some things that they could do this? Is there anything they could do this offseason that would raise your hopes a little bit for next year?
I mean, what we saw, come out in the negotiations was, the owners are making money. And we saw how much the owners are worth. And you can't tell me that you're not getting a profit out of this. I mean, we saw that some of these, poverty franchises like, the Pirates, the Guardians. Sorry.
Is it weird to say?
Yeah, it's so great to say, because we get to throw that in their face forever.
The rollerblading team.
Yeah, these teams are owned by billionaires. I mean, there is no one who owns a team who doesn't have, less than $600-700 million. And I don't want to hear the bullshit about, they can't get fans in the stadium, because whatever you put in that stadium is a boon to what you get from the TV money. That's where all the money is from. And yep. We know this, like, even though they won't open their books, we know this. And then we saw with Atlanta, who is, partially owned by a corporation who has to report some of that they were making $3 million a game. And that was what, net? I mean,
right.
That's 200. I don't know if that would be net, because that would be ridiculous, but that's 240 million for home games, 80 home games. Hold on, 80 times 3. Yes, that is 240 million. So you can't tell me that these guys, that there's no reason why and that's why I wanted to see a salary floor put in. There is no reason why every team should not have $100 million payroll. And that's what pisses me off about the White Sox, is because we are in this window of contention where we've got guys like Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, and Yohan Moncada, and Michael Kopech. And these guys are just going to get older, and we're going to lose them, because, we're not re-signing these guys after these deals. And I mean, if we spent $50 million more for this season, that would put us, as being above any team in the league. To get a right fielder, to get a second baseman, to get a DH for the first time since Jim Thome, those things would put us over the top. And who knows what's going to, I mean, Jerry, I just think he wants to die with all his money. And I just don't understand how you can't do 50 million more this year to get us those pieces that would put us over the top, and what pieces do we have to trade, really? I mean, it would have to be good pieces, because
Craig
the system is barren right now. I know they're not going to do anything with Colt Montgomery. And besides that, like, who's in the minors? Like, Alec Hansen is dead.
Well, he retired. He officially retired.
Yeah. So maybe not dead, but definitely not playing baseball.
By the way, me and my buddy passed away. What we would do is just randomly, we would send each other a picture of Alec Hansen pitching, because he would be like, ah. So we would just send them back and forth randomly, like for years.
Yes, he had like the like tennis player type
Oh,
of
yeah.
vibes, like yelling after every pitch he threw. And yeah, absolutely. I got to see him throw once in Birmingham and he couldn't find the strike zone. It
Oh,
was
no.
absolutely horrendous.
And
He
for
gave up
those
like
of you
6 runs in the first.
for those of you watching, if you've never done it, do a Google image search of Alec Hansen, and every pitch is just his mouth like there was a car jack in it, like opening it up and him screaming. It's amazing.
So you're saying the White Sox would have to spend $50 million for you to get for just this season, just $50 million more on the books just this season to get you a little bit more hopeful.
And it's a little bit more hopeful because, again, at the end of the day, they're still the White Sox. But it's like, I mean, how much do you think Conforto would command?
Oh, jeez.
About $20 million a year.
Yeah.
About $20 million a year. So there's your right fielder. How much would, I mean, I'm not even sure what's left out there for a second baseman.
It's not much.
And I mean, or, what if you wanted to go after, Matt Chapman or Matt Olson, like, give those guys some money, or and again, but this is where they fucked up. There were these free agents out there that could have pushed us over that proverbial line, and they just sat back and did nothing. So
even better, they signed Larry Legend, baby,
and through a press conference.
I mean, he's the puppy that pisses on the rug, am I right? I mean, he will have stretches where he's batting 160 and boots ground balls, and then he'll hit a game-winning home run, and then we'll forget about it for a week, and then during that week he's making like 4 more errors and just mental lapses, misplaying fly balls. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think that's the one thing we remember Larry Legend for Game 3 and that absolute tank he hit to center field. And then we forget about that mishap he had in right field. Was that Game 2? I want to say that was Game 2.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Game 2.
Where
he misjudged that liner that should have been basically a routine play, just like kind of on a jog, get the ball. But wild, absolutely wild with him. Wild card, most definitely. Speaking of wild card, what do you think about the playoff system now?
So how exactly are we doing this? Have they said exactly what it's going to be besides, other than it's 12 teams?
12 teams, and the first 2 seeds 1 and 2 get a bye.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but, and I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but I think just that goes back to what we did or did not do. I mean, obviously you want to be in a bye situation. There's no one who does not want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not only does it increase your chances exponentially, but it allows you to get healthy. I mean, think about that. I mean, it's a grind. We all know it's a grind. And if you get those extra 3-4 days and your bullpen is the healthiest bullpen, the most rested bullpen going in the playoffs, those are the teams that win, hands down. Healthiest and best bullpen has won the past 10 years. Am I right? And
sure seems like it.
So, I mean, and again, I think anything other than, a 1 or 2 seed is, kind of a little bit of a letdown. And, what I think our issue also is we play down to our division.
Yep.
And that's what cost us last year. I mean, Steve-O, you remember we were talking about this in the chat all the time. Yes, there is a chat. Sorry. So I will echo your.
It does exist. I wasn't making shit up on Thursday.
So, people kept saying, oh, don't worry, they'll turn it on. Well, as soon as the playoffs come, they'll turn it on. And it's not like that.
No.
I mean, you've got to, think about last year. Did we have a stretch last year where we won, went on a heater and won 6 or 7 games? I can't remember us doing that. And especially in the second half where we paid 500 baseball. And, the teams that go far in the playoffs, they have, sustained runs of playing good baseball, especially in the second half. And we just didn't do that. So
yeah, there are stretches, the stretches of all those winning games that the White Sox had where they were stringing together 6+ were against bad teams.
Yep.
And then
it was the first half of the season.
Right. First half of the season when they were healthier. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my biggest worry for the White Sox. If they don't stay healthy, they're fucked. And look at last year when Yaz wasn't in the lineup, when Luis wasn't in the lineup, they were not as prolific of a team, especially offensively. They need those bats, especially if they're not going to go out and sign a Michael Conforto, who I'm still hanging my hat on and hoping the White Sox go and get.
He's probably bad.
I mean, they just I'm ignoring you and your anti-Conforto-ness, Tommy. If it were up to Tommy, Leary Legend would be playing all 9 positions. So.
That's not true. Well, he would, but not every day. He would be doing it on spot starts here and there. Just saying.
So as we sit here today, do you think Lurie starts at second base opening day?
Absolutely.
I guaranteed, but I don't think that's intelligent. Like, that's not a good thing. That is a thing that's going to happen.
Well, what are your guys' thoughts? You know, it had been pushed around. Like, if say they do trading it like a Matt Chapman, and you know, threw him at third. How do you feel about Moncada going back to second? Is that something?
Hate it. Absolutely hate it.
He was bad there. Like, full stop. He did not do a good job at that position. So that would be unideal. And I think, like, everybody talks about how your play in the field affects your play with a bat in your hand too. It just bleeds over. So if you take him and you put him in a position that he's not comfortable in, how much is that going to affect his already diminished power? Like, don't want to test it.
And the diminished power isn't from him playing better third base. It's from the injuries that he got in 2019 that are still playing and the long COVID in 2020 that are playing an effect in the way he swings the bat, the power he has, and what he brings to the plate. His defense is damn near elite level.
Yeah,
at third base.
Yeah,
why would you move that? He's the best third baseman that this organization has seen since, I don't know, Robin Ventura?
Martian is what you said, right?
Mark Tien.
Really, yes.
That's
Mark Tien. Do you remember Mark Tien, Tommy?
Fuck that guy.
Jeff Fields. Come on.
I mean, honestly, when all's said and done, Moncada's going to be the best third baseman this organization's ever seen by the time he retires, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
But
so I don't know why you would trade for a guy who has maybe a little bit better glove and a spotty bat. I mean, Matt Chapman has power, but it's just power. That's it. I mean,
I'm going to raise my chin as well, like Tommy did to you.
I would take a Matt Chapman.
I would say is the best defensive third baseman, maybe outside of Arenado.
Yes.
And is he left-handed?
He's right-handed. He's a right-handed power bat.
Okay.
I was more so commenting. I mean, he's a great defender, arguably one of the best. Him and Arenado for sure are 1A and 1B.
But you don't think that he's a good presence at the plate?
I think he's a good presence at the plate, but I still think Moncada, when healthy, is just as good, if not better. When you really break it down and you look at what Moncada can do to get on base, Chapman doesn't really look to get on base. He looks to slug.
But also think about taking him out of that cavernous ballpark. Like,
that's true.
That would be pretty good for him.
Had 2 shitty years in a row. Wow.
No, I mean it's a hitter's ballpark still though.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah. Oh, the Coliseum. Scott.
Coliseum is garbo.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No offense,
Oakland. Well, Tom, do you want to? This is good. Right into Oakland here. You want to talk about your little bit here that you've got for our guy Sammy Davis?
The CBT talk?
No.
Oh, yes. This is a good segue that I just ruined. But I want to talk through like each of these different scenarios that everybody was floating out for the playoffs, right? We opted, the Players Association accepted the offer to do 12 teams. However, I was thinking as all this was going about, what if we just got rid of the playoffs and started eliminating teams from Major League Baseball at the end of every season? And that's like what we decide. So if you play well enough, you stay. Otherwise, you're out. And in that theme, I wanted to go around for each of the divisions and talk amongst ourselves. Who would we love to see eliminated?
This is the most whack MLB shit I've ever heard in my life. But here we go.
Why not? Okay, so we'll take it from each. Like, we'll go through each of the divisions, and for each of us, we'll decide, okay, so which team are we willing to see get out of here from that division, and so on and so forth. So let's start with our we'll go with AL Central last, so we can build to that. But AL East, we've got the Orioles, Red Sox, Yanks, Rays, Blue Jays. Steve, I want you to start. Who among these teams are you willing to let disappear into the ether, never to be seen again?
So once again, to clarify, I'm not answering this from a this team sucks perspective. I'm answering this from a I don't like this team perspective.
Sounds good.
Okay. It's the Tampa Bay Rays. I cannot stand the Tampa Bay Rays, okay? The Tampa Bay Devil Rays, first and foremost. Then they changed back to the Tampa Bay Rays. Like, why did they have to get rid of the devil part? Like, that was actually kind of cool.
Look, they got so much better. Their record is like astronomically better when they got rid of it. First and foremost,
they spend no money and they are that good. And that just pisses me off as a fan, okay? They're a team that needs a salary floor embedded in right away. Like,
and they always know like the exact time when to trade someone.
Yes,
that is
the
like
fact. The Chris Archer trade has to be one of the biggest fleeces I've ever seen of all time
in every major sport. Yes.
In addition to that, the Tampa Bay Rays don't even play in Tampa. They play 45 minutes outside of Tampa. It's worse than the New England Patriots. They play in freaking St. Petersburg, I think. They play way on the other end. So literally in rush hour traffic there, which is not Chicago rush hour traffic, obviously. But it takes 45 minutes to get from one end to the other and to where their city center is to where they actually play. That is stupid. Also, the Trop, I've heard, is an awful ballpark. Just not a great game to go, not a great place to go and experience a game. So I am chopping off the Tampa Rays.
I love it. I love the hatred that you have, and mostly because you're salty. I love all of that. Now, Sammy, what about you? Out of the AL East, who's gone?
I'm going to go, it may sound like low-hanging fruit, but I'm going with the Yankees. And I will give you a very specific reason. It is because their fans are the worst goddamn people on the planet.
Yep.
Like people complain about Red Sox fans, but you know what? Red Sox fans are knowledgeable. They know their stuff. Yankees fans, if you've ever interacted with a Yankee fan, either in real life or on Twitter, what's the one thing here? 27 championships, yeah, huh? 27 championships. I'm like, yeah, you weren't even a figment in your father's eye during 25 of those. They won everything between 1900 and 1960. And, they had the early 90s success. But again, all those people who are saying this shit, they weren't alive during that. They've maybe seen one in their lives. So,
that A-Rod Jeter 09 team, right?
Yeah, and that was it. So I'm getting rid of the Yankees, that fake cookie cutter ballpark that they built.
That short porch. If there is one
I thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah. That it's a little league stadium.
Yes, it is.
The only reason Brett Gardner still has the career is because of that stadium.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, no, that I'm very, very happy you took that, so I didn't have to.
Okay.
Because the Orioles got to go, guys. Let's be honest. The Orioles have got to go. Camden Yards can stay, but the Orioles got to go. The team's so bad, it's legitimately embarrassing. When you go and play the Orioles, it's just disappointing if you lose to that AAA ball club. There's nothing. Nobody's excited when the Orioles come to town. Nobody's buying tickets to come. Whoa, the Orioles are coming in. Nobody gives a shit. If there's a team that can go, it's that team. You get it. It's true. It's just true.
I'm telling you what. If they can get Correa and build around him with what they've already got, I'm telling you, man, don't sleep on the Orioles. Don't sleep.
Yes, we're gonna sleep on the Orioles. No, it's never gonna happen, Steve. They're literally never going to be good. I will say there's talks about redoing scheduling for I think it's next year they're gonna implement it, where there's gonna be a lot less games against your division, and they're gonna open it up so that you play every team in the MLB every year. Every MLB team plays every MLB team. And that's going to be good for the Orioles because they're not going to have to play, the Yankees 19 times, the Red Sox 19 times, the Rays 19 times, and the Blue Jays 19 times. They'll play like everybody. And hypothetically, that's better for them. But no, Steve, you're joking yourself if you think that's going to be a good thing for them in the long run.
I'm not going to try and convince you till I'm blue in the face. So go on to the next one.
AL West. We got Astros, we got Angels, we got A's, we got Mariners, we got Rangers. Who's got to go? Sammy, I'm starting with you this time.
It's so easy. Can we just all agree it's the Astros and they can go fuck themselves until infinity? I mean, this is too easy. I mean, especially. I mean, we know it's like when you look at someone you hate and you give them that look and they know like that's what it is. Oh God, just thinking about them just gets me so fucking aggravated. Ugh.
Dude,
Second.
Wow, just second. That's it. That's all. No, I think that it's good to have a villain in baseball. Like it's good to have somebody that everybody wants to like. That's something that's going to sell tickets. Astros come to town.
Yankees are for.
That's
what the Yankees are for.
Yeah, but like the evil empire, like what Sammy was saying before, it's like you hate the Yankees not because of the Yankees. You hate the Yankees because of the fans. You hate the Astros because of the Astros because they're the fucking Astros. Fuck those guys. Yeah, like fuck, like seriously. So it's totally different. Don't give me that. We need that evil empire, but from down south. I don't want to see the Astros go anywhere, honestly. What I want to see out of baseball is the Angels. California Angels of Anaheim, whatever the hell it was.
Like, LA Angels of Anaheim.
Whatever. They can go disappear into oblivion because this, like, they spend so much money and they're so bad every year. And they're just holding on to two of the best players in Major League Baseball and letting their careers die, like at that shit organization. It's literally a travesty that
they do not understand that pitching is a hefty portion of playing a baseball game. Like
correct.
And even the best pitcher they got is also a batter. It's like they really don't. They like valued it in quotes. They're like, yeah, we value pitching, but he also hits bombs. So no, I could see like the Angels not existing anymore would absolutely be better for the league because that would distribute the top end of the talent to teams that actually could use it. So there's that.
Go ahead. Next one.
We got the NL Central. All right. So, I mean, Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Pirates, Cards. So where are we at on this spectrum, guys? I feel like there's a lot of teams that I'd get rid of. I'm not going to lie.
Speaking of bad fans, St. Louis Cardinal fans are actually like scum of the earth.
Yes.
From all the experiences that I've heard and seen online, in person, and so on. The White Sox Cubs thing. I always have a hard time wrapping my head around it being a rivalry, but I don't know. It's fun to talk shit with Cubs fans. A lot of my friends are Cubs fans.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to wipe the Cubs off the map. I'm going to get rid of the St. Louis Cardinals.
All right. I love that. And I think I'm like in the same boat. Like their fans are total trash. They're just not kind. None of them are kind. I haven't had a good interaction.
I mean, most of them are from like, downstate Missouri too. So
that'll do it. Okay. Sammy, where are you at on this?
Pirates. It's got to be the Pirates. I mean, how many times can you screw up on a trade? How many times can you draft high and not develop? How many times can you just not spend, the league minimum of money? They're just absolutely not trying. I mean, they're in the conversation like you talked about of actual like relegation. Like they are the reason we need a salary cap floor. It's like imagine for the past however many years being a fan of that team and just knowing that nothing is going to happen. And not only is nothing going to happen, that you're not going to draft well, you're not going to develop, you're not going to have. I mean, do they even have a good minor league system? So
no, not really.
I absolutely the problem is like I agree very full-throated with both of your guys' picks here.
Full-throated?
Yeah, full-throated support. That's like a thing. I probably shouldn't have said it.
Is that a thing, John? No. No
Uh,
government.
I think full throated is more of a sexual reference than anything else.
Thank
so.
you, Sammy.
Yeah. Okay. So I have my undying support for both of those opinions. I'd get rid of both of the teams if we could. The Pirates and the Cardinals both can go. But the problem is those stadiums. Both of those stadiums are pretty freaking nice.
Yeah.
PNC is beautiful.
PNC is really nice. Busch Stadium. I mean, the people who go there, not great. But
I've never been. I've only seen it from the outside from the highway. So
yeah, no, it's nice. It's real nice. Okay. NL East. We've got Braves. We've got Miami Marlins, Mets, Phillies, Nats. Have at it, Steve-O. Where you got?
it's easy. Miami.
Okay.
First off, oh God. They've I don't know what they're doing with their ballpark. Okay. They built a new one and then it fucked it up. It doesn't look great. And then on top of that, you've got this whole Jeter scandal right now. The whole trade away all these players, try to bring in some young talent. The young talent is underperforming. You hung your hat on Lewis Brinson being the truth, and he's not.
Super not.
And then, absolutely. And then on top of that, I mean, now you've got ownership that's running away from their problems. Miami is a complete mess of an organization. They've gotten lucky with 2 World Series championships. I still can't believe that they've won 2 World Series in my lifetime. I can't wrap my mind around that. That's annoying as hell in and of itself, especially with how little it looks like they try. They don't have any their most significant player in their organization history was better in another uniform. Miguel Cabrera. So,
oh yeah.
That's what I got to say.
Damn. Okay. Well, that's pretty savage. Sammy, where are you at on it?
A year or two ago, I would have never said this because I feel like the Mets are a kindred spirit for us. Because
yes, they are.
They are the second team in a big city, and they just have everything that collapse around them. I feel for my friends who are Mets fans because they go through the same stuff that we do. Then they got bought by Steve Cohen, and that guy should be in jail. He is. I don't want to go on a rant. He is the reason why rich people are able to get away with massive crimes. If you can pay it back, you don't go to jail. So 1, their owner should be in jail, and 2, he's got so much money and he spends it. It makes me jealous that we don't have an owner who will spend his own goddamn money. So when I see Steve Cohen tweeting, he's like, "Hey, who should I sign this week?" Could you imagine anyone in the Sox organization ever doing that? No. And I think because he owns the Mets and because he's such a dick, he's going to want to try to outspend so many other teams. And it makes me jealous. So I went from commiserating with Mets fans to being jealous of them. So get rid of the Mets. Fuck the Mets. Fuck Steve Cohen. Fuck Queens. Queens sucks.
Nothing makes me happier than that whole rant.
What about LaGuardia, man? LaGuardia.
Shut up.
Well, actually, they've redone LaGuardia. It's actually pretty nice now, which I never thought I'd say in my lifetime.
There you go.
Even Midway's okay.
I love Midway.
I love Midway.
Shit on Midway.
I'm sorry. It's just far from me.
Midway has a Big and Littles in there, so you can get that ahi tuna taco anytime you want. Yeah.
High key. That's pretty good.
See, the thing is with Tommy here, he thinks that anything west of Cicero and anything south of Division is just the edge of the universe and just does not exist.
Come on.
Tommy lives in this pocket of the northwest side, northwest suburbs.
Come on, you have to at least expand that boundary. Like I can't go past Forest Park because I know that's the edge of the world. Like give me at least that far west, and I'll go down to like 95th, like where the red line ends. Like but past that, I don't know anything that exists. It's not that I don't think that there's good things out there. It's just that my ignorance, like I don't know anything past that. That's it. That's all that there is. But back to the topic at hand. If I had to get rid of somebody, I would have gotten rid of the Mets, but we already talked it over, and I agree with everything Sammy said. I'm getting rid of the Braves because
Is it the chop?
it's the chop. It's the chop. Are you kidding me with that? Like, what is this? The 1970s? Like, sorry, Sammy.
Wrong with the swinging 70s, baby.
No, it's just there. The amount of
It's 2022 and we're still doing the chop.
Yeah, like let's get real. And no, the Braves, like your name has got to go too. Just like and I'm not one of the people from Chicago that's like, oh, the Cleveland Baseball Club's got to change their name, the Washington football team's got to change their name, but the Blackhawks can stay. No, I think the Blackhawks got to change their name too. And it's I'm sick of it. And this is beating a dead horse, so I'm not going to go any further on it, but Braves got to go. Sorry, Atlanta.
And just to echo your point, I want to paraphrase Chris Rock. Haven't we done enough to the Native Americans? I mean,
yep.
He said, when's the last time you've seen two Native American people standing together? Like,
yep.
That's how bad we screwed them over for, I don't know, 300-400 years.
Yeah.
So let's not make fun of them with our sports teams, okay?
That's the least we could do. The least. The
absolute least.
God damn it. Okay, so NL West, we've got it down to our second to last here. We got the D-backs, the Rockies, Dodgers, Padres, Giants. Where are we at?
I'm going to go Rockies. I'm going to go Rockies because imagine if the White Sox ballpark was to an extent where we said no pitcher is ever going to want to sign here ever.
Yes.
I mean, that would be crippling, not just as a fan, but to an organization. And like, no matter everything that they've tried, the humidors and everything, pitchers go to die there.
Mm-hmm.
Batters, when they go there, their numbers get inflated and they aren't as good. I'm going to bring up, someone brought up, remember, everyone thought Carlos Gonzalez was going to be the next big thing.
Absolutely.
What happened with him? I mean, Arenado's. So, obviously he was going to do fine, but it's like pitchers will never succeed there and hitters over succeed there and then can never adapt afterwards. So I'm getting rid of that. I'm bulldozing the stadium, putting a couple more breweries there, and then moving it to a lower point of altitude in the Colorado area.
Yeah,
I like that.
There's got to be something like more east that'll work better for Colorado, like because it's unreal. It's unreal.
Yep.
Steve, where are you at on this list?
I mean, it's an easy choice, Tom. Just to piss you off, it's the San Francisco Giants.
I knew it.
Your first favorite ball club, San Francisco Giants.
It's not.
First off, there is so much history behind the San Francisco Giants that old fans like to hang their hat on. The old Willie Mays, McCovey, all this bullshit. Rah rah.
You're anti Willie Mays.
Yeah, that's a strong stance.
No, I'm kidding. Honestly, here's the deal. My big point is that, our guy, again, Kerry, came into the chat here and said, would like to point out that Carlos Rodon is not on the Sox anymore.
What a jag.
I am not pumped about it. I'm a little upset. I mean, they're stealing Rodon from us, and that's a reason to be pissed off in and of itself right now, in my opinion. And here's the thing. I didn't want to pay him $22 million, so I'm glad that he got his payday somewhere else. I
hate to agree with P. Knowles, but we couldn't, offer him some shitty fucking qualifying offer to get
Right.
at least a draft pick out of it. I mean,
Right.
these
Right.
are like basic functions of a team that the White Sox should be doing. And it just goes to my point of always being pessimistic and always thinking about just expect the worst. Like, I mean, but again, you are right. 22 million. I mean, yes, I loved Carlos Rodon as a person and as a player. He was a bulldog. I mean, he wore his heart on his sleeve, and I remember when he first started with the Sox, he had a lot of what Dylan Cease had, where if he walked a guy or if there was an error in the field or he hit, it would get to him. And to see the way that he progressed mentally over the past 2-3 years, I hope that Cease noticed that, and that'll be. I mean, Giolito was the same way, and he got past it. So, I need to see Cease do that, but Rodon, I will never say a bad word about him. But again, 22 million for a guy who had dead arm in July. It's just,
Fair. Totally fair. Yeah, I'm not going to be in the same boat where I like if we at least extended the qualifying offer, he might have taken it. We might have him on the team for another year. That would be the absolute best scenario. And alternatively, Steve, like as soon as that came out that we didn't offer the qualifying offer, Steve was like, "No, his medicals are probably shit." It's like, okay,
but they're probably not great. I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse with Rodon.
But you want the Giants gone is what you're saying.
Well, no, and I'll rope it back to
the
that.
opt-out after 1 year. So, I mean, the medical can't be that great.
Yeah.
But it's a player opt-out.
Oh, I thought it was a team opt-out.
Pretty sure it's player. Pretty sure.
What are you talking about? The qualifying offer?
No. There's the 2-year deal that Rodon signed.
Yes.
Is 1 year and an option.
Oh, it didn't even know that.
I'm pretty sure it's a player option, but
I'm definitely going to research this, and if I am right, I'm just going to like tweet at you for like the next 6 hours, and
absolutely should. You absolutely should
time me on your well, it is your podcast, so I guess
that's fair. No, but drag my name through the mud if I'm wrong on that, please. Yes.
Oh, I will, and there will be photoshops as well. You don't know what you've got yourself into. There's
wonderful.
There's going to be penises and King Mac fleshlights.
Yes, absolutely.
That's too bad.
No, and to be honest with you, back to Rodon, just really quick. If the White Sox don't spend the money, if they don't spend that 18.4 million, I'm gonna be upset that they didn't give Rodon the qualifying offer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's gonna come down to for me. I think that 18.4 can be spent on another pitcher, and I'm gonna feel a little bit better about it. But if it doesn't get spent at all, there's going to be Jerry Reinsdorf tweets left and right.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, my team wouldn't even be, to be honest, reeling it back to our conversation about teams off for the NL West, we would wipe off the map. It wouldn't be the Giants. I love that ballpark.
Thank you.
They're not the worst organization. I think I'm going to go with Arizona.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Arizona because first off, who needs a fucking swimming pool in their baseball stadium? That's so ridiculous.
We have a shower.
On top of that, it's so fucking hot there that it's just unbearable to play during the summer. And then on top of that, it's just like not a team that or a city area that should have a team playing baseball in it during the summer. Mm-hmm. That's what it comes down to.
They've got spring training already. What like?
There you go. You
fine.
Get half the teams, you know, for a whole month. And then also they're just shitty franchise. Once again, a lucky World Series win that technically they shouldn't have gotten, but Luis Gonzalez muscled off a Mariano Rivera cutter. By the way, that pitch that Mo gave him should have been a pop fly, but the infield was playing it.
It should have broke both of his hands is what it should have done.
Exactly. 1,000%. So
you're also not getting Tony Womack his due for getting on base and starting that.
Facts. That's right. Tony Womack. What a throwback name. I love that.
I won a World Series. That last name is garbage.
Remember that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're going through NL West, you know who I'm gonna pick. I'm my second team is the Giants. So Dodgers got to go. Those fans are too much. Those players are too much. I mean, any team that's going to go out and sign he who must not be named for 27 mil They don't need to be an organization anymore. So that's that. That's all I got to say about it. We got the last, but definitely not least, AL Central.
They are the least, though. Let's be real. The AL Central is fucking terrible.
It's bad. It's real bad. We should ship. If we were to delete all those teams, there should be a reorganization where the AL Central gets some better teams. But we've got the White Sox, Cleveland Baseball Club, Tigers, and Royals. Who we getting rid of, boys? Sammy, you get to go first on this one.
If I may, I would actually like to go last on this one because I'm interested with what you guys have to say.
Yes,
I'll fucking go first. I hate the Twins. I hate the Twins so much. And it's because, first off, if you can think of, and a lot of this is coming down to ballparks, but if you can think of a vanilla ballpark,
Target Field.
It's Target Field. Target Field is a very vanilla ballpark. It's fine. You can catch a game there, but there's nothing unique to it. On top of that, Minnesota growing up was the one team that was always the pain in the fucking side for the White Sox. You can bring it back to the early 2000s when that pitching staff in 02 and 03 was just way too good for the White Sox to keep up with. You can kick it to 06 where the Twins stole the wild card from the White Sox because of the fucking awful Metrodome. At least they fucking replaced the Metrodome, where the White Sox couldn't win a fucking game because of the stupid AstroTurf there, and the ball's just bouncing left and right against them.
And the garbage bag in center field.
Absolutely, yeah, fucking awful. And that's the thing, is you had to hit the ball how high, 40 feet high to hit a home run, right? It was so screwed up.
Remember when they had hockey glass in left field?
That's right. That's right.
When they won the World Series, they had hockey glass. I remember Kirby Puckett made that catch up against the glass.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then when we're thinking about players that are on this team and players who have given this team their image, I think of Josh Donaldson. And my God, do I hate Josh Donaldson. And everything that he stands for. So there you go, Minnesota Twins.
I love it. And by the way, just to throw a Donaldson fact out there for you, Josh Donaldson actually loved U2's Songs of Innocence. That album that they forced onto he loves that album, Josh Donaldson. Hashtag Donaldson facts. I'm gonna get rid of the Tigers. That ballpark is such trash. We're talking a lot about ballparks, but how fucking deep is that center field? Unbelievable. And hitters go to die there, and they ruined Miggy's career. Oh
really?
Yeah, they ruined him. Yes.
The Triple Crown winner.
Yeah, no. And
Willie Mays. Willie Mays, dude.
Yeah, Steve, you have nothing to say about that.
I love Willie Mays. Get out of here.
That Babe Ruth was a jag-off. Fuck him.
Well, he was a Yankee, but
he actually was kind of a jag-off, though.
I full honesty here. I have never liked a team from Detroit. Doesn't matter the kind of narratives, the people playing for that team. I'm not going to like you if the first name of your team is Detroit. Pistons, Red Wings, Tigers, they can all die. I don't want them. The one thing that's true about Chicago, no matter what, is it doesn't matter who's playing on the floor. You can start a "fuck Detroit" chant, and that is something that is fantastic. That's one thing that's going to be unique about the city forever. And in this case, I'm given the opportunity to delete the Detroit Tigers. I'm going to do it.
There you go.
So we saved you
the moment of truth here.
If you say the White Sox.
The White Sox.
God damn it.
Yeah, I'm going with it. You know why? For the reasons I stated earlier. 35 years, and I had one season. 34 years of pain. 34 years of yelling at the TV. 34 years of inept ownership. 34 years of bad GMs. 34 years of not having a DH. 34 years of a stadium that everyone shits on. 34 years of Jerry fucking Reinsdorf and screwing the city out of and state out of money. Fuck the White Sox. If they got rid of him tomorrow, I would become a fan of the Milwaukee Brewers. I'd move to Milwaukee. I'd go find Juan. I'd put him back on Twitter. I would make the world better. I wouldn't have my wife yelling at me for 6 months of the year when I'm upset and yelling at the TV. It wouldn't break my heart. It would be one less thing of my miserable existence that I wouldn't have to deal with. So I am getting rid of the fucking goddamn Chicago White Sox because I can't do it anymore, guys. Just can't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bridgeport's finest, Sammy Davis Jr. 5,000, or should I say, Sammy Davis Jr.
Jimmy June, Jimmy June, Bobby June, Jimmy June.
Oh,
Hey, speaking to Junior, should I hit up Junior? I think he'd love to have a conversation with you right now.
my God.
Oh no. We don't need him. Not in the slightest.
Hey, John, how you doing? Oh, sorry. Hey, John, how you doing?
What's that? I got 3% of the vote right now. Oh man, that's not good.
Hold up, I'm getting another call. The fuck you want?
That was the most cringeworthy thing that I've ever seen, like posted on social media in my life. Like, and I've seen a rat eat a pizza in the subway in New York, and that was like a Van Gogh picture compared to that. That was, oh my God.
Holy shit. Well, speaking of 3% of the vote, and speaking of the 108 tourney, I wanted to get kind of a little bit of rapid fire ideas on the 108 tourney, and some of the matchups that we're gonna see throughout the first round. So at first glance, how do you feel like you're gonna fare in the 108 tourney this year, Sammy Davis Jr.?
So no one knows who the guy I'm facing is in the first round. Does anyone know who he is?
The first round, Uncle Grumpy. Yeah, Tommy and I know Uncle Grumpy.
I met him. He told me to follow him, and then he never tweeted. So
okay, so
or follow me back.
It sounds like he's not that active, and like they were talking about, like the people that are active are the ones. So I wish I knew about him so I could like just talk shit unbelievably. And that like I'm so glad I made the tournament. Like the last 2 years I was so down that I didn't. But then like if I win, then I have to face either Willie or Brian. And like I'm not going to talk shit to those guys. Well, especially Willie, because he's just the nicest human being on the planet.
So
Absolutely.
I mean, if me and Brian go against each other, it'll get interesting just because it'll be no holds barred against each other. And then if we get that far, then I would potentially have to go against Kerry, and I don't want to do that. You know, I really wish like I just had like everyone from Bad Guy Radio on my side of the bracket, just so I could do complete scorched earth, like burn down the internet, like have the police come to my house, so like type of thing.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm disappointed about Juan bowing out of the 108 tournament, because he probably would have been my second round matchup. And boy, that would have been the most ridiculous rap diss I've ever written in my entire life.
But you know, even though we're not getting that, the matchup I am most excited for, and I think you guys know, it's Jordan versus Alex in round one. That
absolutely
that might wind up being like the best 24 hours in the history of White Sox Twitter, because poor Jordan. I told Jordan, I'm like, I'm gonna help you out, like whatever I can do, because like, oh, poor Jordan. He doesn't know what's coming at him.
That's going to be fantastic. I'm just excited like every year to see the amount of people that I don't know yet. So getting to know Uncle Grumpy will be an absolute pleasure. But that's
if he shows up on Twitter. So
he might not.
Well, there's some debatable first round matchups that Sammy Davis Jr., I wanted to get your quick takes on.
Okay.
And I want you can explain your pick if you want, but if not, you could just give me a rapid fire too of who you think is going to win the matchup.
Yeah.
Now the first one, go for it.
I'll do a quick analysis. Sure.
All right. The first one that I want to run by you is the Brewhand Luke versus Beer Garden Jim matchup. Ooh. What are you thinking on this one?
So what I'm thinking is that Jim has an unfair advantage, is because Jim has the following of this awful rap rock band from the late '90s and early aughts, and apparently like the band members follow him and interact with him, and they still have a fan base of like other degenerates like Jim that will be able to get the vote out for Jim. So I think Jim is going to win, but I will be pulling for Luke, and I will be. I mean, if I can make a PowerPoint against Jim, I could definitely campaign against him for the tournament.
There you go.
There will definitely be some fireworks in that one.
Can I ask, who is the rap rock band that follows Jim?
It unfortunately is 311, and yesterday was 311.
Yesterday was 311 day. Amber
Yeah.
was the color of my energy.
Yep, and their shitty music. Yeah.
Would you consider them rap rock?
Yeah, they were like one of the originators. Did you not even pay attention to my PowerPoint, Steve? Oh God. They're in there with like Limp Bizkit and POD.
But you love Limp Bizkit.
I love Limp Bizkit. They were my number one listen on Spotify last year. Was Limp Bizkit.
That's absolutely incredible. How was meeting Fred Durst in real life? By the way,
I didn't meet Fred Durst, but
I thought you did.
No, we saw them at the Metro though, and the Metro is tiny, so I was like 5 feet away from them the entire night, and
okay.
like the inner 16-year-old in me was just like the happiest it's ever been.
Absolutely. I mean, what do you think of the new hair?
I dig it. He's gone full beard now, so he's just he's embracing the the nostalgia run that they're having. So I can't knock him. And their new album wasn't bad. It's
All right, I'm gonna have to give it a listen.
It's pretty good.
All right. Next matchup that I want to run by you real quick is we've got what is probably going to be a second round matchup of Celeste Spaghetti versus Bennett Carroll. Who do you think's coming out on top there?
Bennett has a huge following, obviously. Bennett is a good dude. But you got to look at the interactions. Celeste posts a tweet and she gets like 35 comments on there.
Yep.
So, hold on, Steve. I'm sending you a text really quick, mainly because I want to see you naked. But and Bennett is also a guy who during the tournament likes to, elevate other people instead of him. So I feel like he's not one of those people who are interested in winning the tournament. He's a good guy. He likes to see people get more followers and more interaction. So I don't think it'll be, a knockdown drag out fight, but I do see Celeste pulling this one out. She's got the good content, and she's a fellow law school person, so she'll pull this one out.
Fair, completely fair. Tom, what do you think on that one?
No, I mean Bennett's definitely going to be the one to take it. It's all about following. Like, yeah, you get 35 comments on something, but Fam has way more followers, and it's different. It's just different.
Right.
Like, yes, those 35 people are going to vote for Celeste hands down, but that's
right. Okay, I gotta know your opinions on this one too.
We'll put a side bet on that one, Tommy. Okay.
we gotta see what the odds are, but
okay.
Yeah.
I gotta know your feelings on this one. Sammy Davis June. We got Shy Sox fan Mike versus Region Rat 2 versus 15. I think there's an obvious winner here, but I want to know who your vote goes to.
Okay, so I'm gonna reveal the research that I did last year, and I think Steve-O remembers this. Shy Sox fan Mike will win, but he shouldn't win, because last year when the tournament started, I went through Shy Sox fan Mike's followers, and there were a lot of followers that seemed to have joined in like February and March of 2021. Now, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying it looked a little suspicious. So I'm not saying that he's contracted with people in India and the Soviet Union and China to get followers, but I'm also not saying that. So I'm just going to throw that out there. So if it does turn out to be like 96 to 4, and there's 50,000 votes in that, it's something to keep an eye on.
Right. All right. from a selfish standpoint, I need to know, how do you think the matchup versus myself versus Adam KC is gonna go?
So what I'm hoping for is that for 24, or let's make it a good 3 days. For 3 days, I want you guys to forget that you are friends. For 3 days, I want you to pretend like you killed each other's families. I want it to be a knockdown, drag out, because Adam's going to be coming with the Photoshop. All right,
Absolutely.
I know you're going to be coming with the mic skills, but Adam is very good at Photoshop. Adam is very good at drinking. So those are two very important qualities for a participant in the tournament. So I'm hoping it's knockdown, drag out. I think you will come ahead again, following and interactions, and also
The bot accounts.
Adam also has the amount of enemies that I have on Twitter, because we tend to say whatever comes to our mind without any filter.
You guys both were part of Globo Gym.
Yes, we are. He's a fellow Mard, so we got to be careful.
All right, I got a couple more to run by you, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. First off, I want to know your ideas on Sockside Pride versus Mike Huckleberry.
All right, I'm really pulling for Huck on this one, but after this week when we saw him play Call of Duty, I've lost all faith in my buddy Huck. I mean, this guy was getting lit up by 13-year-olds that don't even have a pubic hair yet, and he needs to show me some fire. I mean, if he's getting his ass kicked by Carrie and 13-year-olds in Call of Duty, how's he going to navigate the strange world of the 108 tournament? So Mike, pick it the fuck up, all right, buddy?
That's amazing. And then a 108 matchup. 108 kind of OGs, semi OGs. We got Aloha Mr. Hand versus White Sox Sal. How do we see this matchup playing out?
I got to give the advantage to Aloha Mr. Hand in this one. I love White Sox Sal as well. Pete is my guy. He's a fellow cigar smoker. He has a big following. He's on a bunch of podcasts. I see Aloha Mr. Hand. In fact, I think he's going to come out of that side of the bracket.
Ooh, hot take. I love that for a 6 seed too.
Mm-hmm. He could have been a 2 or a 3 seed
for sure. I absolutely. If there's one person you got to pick to win it all right now, last 108 tourney question: who is your pick to win it all this year?
Wow. It was a popular pick on Thursday, but I got to go with Janice.
There you go.
Janice is absolutely brutal.
Yep.
I mean, when she killed Bonnie that one day, like no one has picked up that carcass yet, because that's how bad that Janice killed her that day. Like, I mean, and she's got. I mean, she's a media presence. She does podcasts. Janice is everywhere. She hustles, and I think if she does win, she definitely deserves it. And would she be the first female winner of the 108 tournament?
She would be.
Yes, so I think it's time. We didn't get the female president that we really could have used. So Janice winning the 108 tournament and break the glass ceiling of the 108 tournament.
God, I think I'm just gonna fold up, and if I make it to round 3 against Janice, I think I might just fold it up and stay off Twitter that day.
I'm definitely not voting for you if you go up against Janice.
That's completely fair.
She will hunt me down and cut off my ears and nose and yeah.
Your ogre ears or your actual ears? That's the real question.
Both sets.
Okay.
Incredible.
Well, Sammy Davis Jr., we know that you got to wrap this thing up. So what are your final thoughts for us here on the Sons of Honarchy podcast?
My final thoughts are, first, I want to thank you guys for having me on.
It's really fun.
This is only the first real podcast I've actually done. I was a guest on the Festus thing, but it was only about for 10 minutes. So thank you guys for putting this together. Tommy, I need to see you at more games next year. I only saw you at one, and you were wearing a tie, and everyone made fun of you for 4 hours. So Just please wear something casual if you go to the games next year and I see you.
No promises.
I'm telling you, he still needs to play into it. He needs to play into the dress up thing. Beef Loaf said that needs to be his bit. I want him to stick with it.
Maybe. Steve-O, I love you, brother. You're one of my first White Sox Twitter friends that I actually met and hung out with. Appreciate you having me on, and can't wait to see you guys at the park this year.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, we will talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you guys so much. I'll see you.
Much love, buddy.
Blessings.
Nipple.
As if we didn't see enough on Thursday.
That's true.
Incredible.
Take care, guys.
You too, man.
All right.
Tom, let's wrap this thing up.
So I want to know if you've got any final thoughts after having, a great time with Sammy Davis Jr.
My guy, Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr. Tommy David Jr. No, this was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that we were able to do this with our guy and just talk baseball. We got baseball back. This is exciting shit.
Yeah, we didn't go full celebration mode, which I'm happy with, honestly, because I think he spoke it well in saying that like it was gonna happen. Like we were gonna have baseball this year. It was just a matter of when. And I'm happy it's sooner rather than later. But outside of that, let's just get some signings done and like make this team a little bit better and get on with it. God damn it. So, Steve, I think we're at the point where I can say, in Han we trust.
Baseball is back. I got nothing to rhyme with. Let's fucking go. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see y'all next week.